Back now to our top story today, the next step in the investigation into how the Department of Justice handled the fast and furious gun-running sting through which guns were allowed to get into the hands of some very bad criminals down in Mexico, resulting in hundreds of deaths south of the border and one Border Patrol agent possibly being killed here in the United States. Brian Terry. There is a question about whether there was a cover-up at the Justice Department of this operation in which the DOJ was involved to some extent. House lawmakers voting now to hold Attorney General Eric Holder in contempt of Congress late yesterday, the first sitting cabinet member found in contempt for refusing to hand over thousands of documents that have been subpoenaed. 17 Democrats crossed party lines voting in favor of the move. 2 Republicans declined to vote for the measure. A large group of Democratic lawmakers chose to walk out in the middle of the vote, calling the contempt citation a political witch hunt. Utah Republican Jason Chaffetz is a member of the House Oversight Committee that has been pursuing these subpoenas. He is with me now. Congressman, welcome back.
Thanks, Megyn.
All right, so what did you make of the Democrats getting up and walking out in large measure yesterday?
They complained about silly political stunts. That's all I saw it as. Look, you're instructed to go to Congress to make hard, difficult votes. Just a little protest. I thought it was silly and non-productive. You
know what happened as well when the Democrats moved to hold Harriet Miers and Josh Bolten, who worked for the Bush White House, in contempt?
No, it doesn't mean that it's right. I mean, we got to get past this. Well, somebody else did it, so it's okay for us to do it. Come on, have the debate. All we're asking for is the documents. If there's nothing to hide, show us the documents.
They seem to be rallying, the Democrats do, a bit more around the Attorney General now than they were initially. Do you view that as a genuine show of support? Do you view that as a political move?
I view it as just a political move. As Trey Gowdy has said, what I've been arguing, what Chairman Ice has been arguing is, what percentage of the truth do we want in this case? Do you want 100% of it, or do you want just a smaller percentage of it? What's right in this case? We want all the truth and nothing but the truth, no matter where the documents take us. That's the promise that President Obama made when he first took office, but that is not what's happening at the White House and the Department of Justice today.
So now the Attorney General of the United States has been found in contempt of Congress. You have held him in criminal contempt of Congress and in civil contempt of Congress. Yep. And so now you will ask the U.S. Attorney down in D.C., I gather, to go before a grand jury and proceed with criminal charges against him. That is not going to happen, is it?
No, unfortunately, we've already received a letter that says from the Department of Justice instructing the U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia to not pursue it. I guess that's no surprise. But if you actually look at the statute now, I'm not an attorney, and I know that sounds like I'm bragging, but the statute does say that you shall do this. And they'll say, well, the precedent is that hasn't been done in the past. We got to get past this so-called precedent and do what the law says. The law says he shall pursue it. So he's got a difficult situation on his hands. And by the way, Megyn, this is exactly the same person who the White House claims is independent enough to investigate the leaks
now,
that we had over there.
I'm sorry. We are told that there is an option available to you, the Republicans in the House, and that is to possibly ask the Sergeant at Arms of the House to go arrest Mr. Holder. Are you going to do that?
That would be fairly dramatic. But yes, 3 options: going through the U.S. Attorney, going into civil court, or have the Sergeant of Arms take control of this situation, which I think some people are going to say we ought to do, but we're going to try to exhaust the other ones first.
Really? You think that's still an option?
I find it hard and dramatic to do, but look, we want to get to the bottom of this. We're serious about this. I don't think the Democrats thought we were serious enough to actually hold them in contempt, but this is a serious enough case. We got a dead Border Patrol agent, 200 dead Mexicans, thousands of weapons missing. I mean, think about it. The federal government purposely and knowingly gave the drug cartels 2,000 weapons, mostly AK-47s, and we're just supposed to walk away and not pursue this?
Now
that's just not going to happen.
Now what happens if the case winds up in civil court, as many believe it's likely to? When will it go to civil court? How quickly would this process, get it in civil court? And then aren't we just looking at months and months of lawyers going back and forth before the judge? Give us the privilege log. Let us review it. This isn't an appropriate objection. We can't assert privilege. Before we know it, 2 years have passed.
Hey, when you get a room full of attorneys, nothing's necessarily going to go right. It's a shame that the Attorney General and the White House, the Obama administration, is putting the country through this, putting the Brian Terry family through this. It can be totally avoided and stopped if they just provide the documents.
Jason Chaffetz, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Megyn.
See you again soon.